on the wall. 39 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 38 bottles of beer on the wall. 38 bottles of beer on the wall. 38 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. There's bottles of beer on the wall. I'm not going to. Some bottles of beer on the wall. 37 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 36 bottles of beer on the wall. 36 bottles of beer on the wall. 36 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 35 bottles of beer on the wall. 35 bottles of beer on the wall. 35 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 35 bottles of beer on the. Subscribe to Global Global. 34 bottles of beer on the wall. 33 bottles of beer. You're welcome. Take one down, pass it around. 32 bottles of beer on the wall. 3 bottles of beer on the wall. 32 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 31 bottles of beer on the wall. 31 bottles of beer on the wall. 31 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 30 bottles of beer on the wall. 30 bottles of beer on the wall. 30 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 29 bottles of beer on the wall. 29 bottles of beer on the wall. 29 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 28 bottles of beer on the wall. 28 bottles of beer on the wall. 28 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 27 bottles of beer on the wall. 27 bottles of beer on the wall. 27 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 26 bottles of beer on the wall. 26 bottles of beer on the wall. 26 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 25 bottles of beer on the wall. 25 bottles of beer on the wall. 25 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 24 bottles of beer on the wall. 24 bottles of beer on the wall. 24 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 23 bottles of beer on the wall. 23 bottles of beer on the wall. 23 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 22 bottles of beer on the wall. 22 bottles of beer on the wall. 22 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 21 bottles of beer on the wall. Bottles of beer on the wall. 21 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 20 bottles of beer on the wall. 19 bottles of beer on the wall. 19 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 18 bottles of beer on the wall. 18 bottles of beer on the wall. 18 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 17 bottles of beer on the wall. 17 bottles of beer on the wall. 17 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 16 bottles of beer on the wall. 16 bottles of beer on the wall. 16 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 15 bottles of beer on the wall. 15 bottles of beer on the wall. 15 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 14 bottles of beer on the wall. Why? Bottles of beer on the wall. 14 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 13 bottles of beer. Stole my phone. 13 bottles of beer on the wall. 13 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 12 bottles of beer on the wall. 12 bottles of beer on the wall. 12 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 11 bottles of beer on the wall. 11 bottles of beer on the wall. 11 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 10 bottles of beer on the wall. 10 bottles of beer on the wall. 10 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 8 bottles of beer on the wall. 8 bottles of beer on the wall. 8 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 7 bottles of beer on the wall. 7 bottles of beer on the wall. 7 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 6 bottles of beer on the wall. 6 bottles of beer on the wall. 6 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 5 bottles of beer on the wall. 5 bottles of beer on the wall. 5 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 4 bottles of beer on the wall. 3 bottles of beer on the wall.
Don't throw things back there.
Okay. 3, 4 bottles of beer on the wall. 4 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 3 bottles of beer on the wall. 3 bottles of beer on the wall. 3 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 2 bottles of beer on the wall. 2 bottles of beer on the wall. 2 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. 1 bottle of beer on the wall. 1 bottle of beer on the wall. 1 bottle of beer. Take one down, pass it around. No beer bottles of beer on the wall.
That's called epic.
That was awesome. Again.